Brian, then I just want to mention briefly the attack on the Kerch Bridge. If we just bring the picture on screen. So the Russians are calling it a terrorist attack, but two civilians, was a married couple, were killed when as their car was crossing this. Their daughter was wounded by the explosion. Well, the roadway was damaged. Actually, the roadway itself doesn't look very damaged. David, I'm interested to get your thoughts on that picture and what might have happened. I mean, I'm sure you won't be able to say what might have happened. I mean, the Russians or the Ukrainians are saying it was a drone attack. Obviously, the roadway has collapsed somewhat, but the actual road surface itself doesn't seem to be damaged. So that the whatever it was must have happened underneath.
Yeah, it's somewhat difficult to imagine what a drone could actually do to cause that. It's lost one of the main beams from the bridge has lost support, so it's now almost supported in sort of three corners. That deck section and is sagging alarmingly as a result. So that either means that the end of the beam itself has been struck and essentially disintegrated, or that the supporting pier has. But that there's been a loss of support at a bearing.
So does that look tricky to repair?
It depends on the degree of damage. I mean, it's obviously you got a big item to lift there, and it's got to be realigned and then repaired. Quite tricky, actually, yes, but it's perhaps possible to actually jack it back level and execute a repair without having to take a section away and rebuild it. Perhaps not. You would need to know a little bit more detail of just what the damage is.
Yes. Okay. Thank you for that. Now let's move on, David, to hypersonic missiles, because apparently we're going to start developing them.
Well, so it would seem. So we've got a briefing document here from the UK Parliament, giving an overview of what they are and some of the issues that surround them. So they define them as missiles that combine speeds of over 5 times the speed of sound, Mach 5, with significant maneuverability during flight. They report that China and Russia have deployed them, reportedly, and their speed, maneuverability, and altitude may challenge existing missile defenses. That's a euphemism for we haven't a clue as to how to stop them. In developing them, they say a little bit that's quite interesting about some of the technical challenges. One is heat-resistant materials. Now, this was a major issue when the spy planes were being developed in the 50s, because the surface temperature is so high at the sort of speeds they were doing, which was about Mach 3. So they report here, air resistance created at hypersonic speeds is huge, generating temperatures of several thousand degrees, and advanced materials such as ceramics are needed to withstand this. Thermal protection for electronics, fuel, and warheads are also crucial. And they also talk about plasma formation. High temperatures at hypersonic speeds can cause the air around the missile to break down into plasma, which is a cloud of electrically charged particles. So the neutrons, protons, and electrons of an atom become dislocated from one another and form a plasma. This can interfere with signals sent to and from guidance and communication systems. So you get some sort of inkling as to the nature of the technical challenges that are present in this. But these are technical challenges that the Russians and the Chinese have overcome. So the report here, Russia has a system called Avangard, does Mach 20, incredible speed, and one called Zircon, which can be launched from naval vessels and does 9 times the speed of sound. China has one that does Mach 10 with a range of 2,000 kilometers. United States, well, further tests are planned for 2023. Some systems have been flight tested or had a prototype successfully tested. So the United States doesn't have anything deployable. This is quite significant.
David, can we just put that one back on screen again for a second? Because I just wanted to mention the Common Hypersonic Glide Body, which is an HGV that can be launched from either naval or ground-based systems. I think that's quite incredible, because, I mean, they should perhaps have defined the acronym a little bit better.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So to move on from this, they're also talking about how to actually stop them. And they're saying that looking at novel approaches to intercepting hypersonic missiles to exploit the vulnerabilities created by the demanding conditions of sustained hypersonic flight. Now, that's code for our existing missile defense systems in their use, and we're having to look at something entirely innovative to stop these things. It talks about the UK missile defense system, and this doesn't make particularly happy reading because we're investing in ground-based ballistic missile defenses that's due to enter service in 2029. I'm sure Putin has read that as well. The UK also has limited missile defense capabilities in some ground naval platforms to protect the area on ground deployed assets. So basically, the safest place to be is next to a Type 45 destroyer, which is in harbour being repaired, it would seem. And the reason I dug into this, just to see what was being said about this and have some sort of idea of the level of technical difficulty, is we're seeing reports like this next one from the Evening Standard. Right, with an entirely deceptive headline, the MOD set to spend $1 billion boosting the UK's hypersonic missile ability. That implies that we've got a hypersonic missile ability. We don't. And the truth of this is given up in the next sentence. The Ministry of Defence is set to spend $1 billion on accelerating its acquisition of hypersonic weapons. And they're quoting the MOD here. It's anticipated the framework will have a value of $1 billion over a 7-year period. An early supplier market engagement day is to be held in this summer. So we're absolutely at the start of this process to allow suppliers to gain more information and, quote, ensure the success of the hypersonics program. Anybody who says, when you're dealing with these sort of technical challenges, uses the phrase ensure the success is either stupid or lying. I'll leave it to you to decide which that was.
Yes, okay, thank you for that. And apologies, my HGV joke absolutely failed miserably. But anyway, let's move on.